Dear friends, Happy New Year! May God bless you, give you happiness and peace and prosperity to you, to your family. When I was in Taiwan, I noticed that for the Chinese New Year, a lot of people pray in their home, but a lot of people also, those who are not Christian, they go to the temples, to the Buddhist or the Taoist temples, and there they pray, they worship the idols, the gods that are there. And I think that if it was possible to put a statue of Jesus there, which is not possible, but if it was possible to have a statue there, I'm sure that everybody also will worship that statue, because they are open to many gods. But it should be explained what is the purpose of Jesus, because there every idol has its own purpose or its own utility. Some is you can pray for having children, or for making money, or for do business, or for having your taste, so there are different specialization. And what is Jesus about? Well, Jesus is just about saving people. He can save us. He can help us in all our difficulties in our life. But if people ask what is Jesus about, we should be able to explain that. And to explain, we should be able to give some proof, to give witness, and to say something. But not to say something about what happened many years ago also, but especially in your life, for you, what Jesus has done for you. Did you experience His power in your life? Did He really save you, help you? Can you say something about that? Well, we should be able to say a little story. And if we look at the Gospel, we can find a lot of stories about Jesus. Actually, there are plenty of stories, because in that way the disciples started to evangelize, just saying stories about Jesus, what Jesus did for them. How do you experience Jesus' power? So Jesus healing the sick people, or dealing with the demons, throwing away demons, performing miracles and other things. Like, for example, the story we know, the disciples during night were in a boat in the lake, and there was a big storm, and they were afraid of going down, dying, and Jesus was sleeping in the boat, and they called Jesus, and Jesus wake up, and just everything finished. He warned the wind finished. And then he reproached his disciples, why you have so little faith? And so you see a small story, very short, but it's very meaningful. And you can use this story to explain, to say, well, the boat is like our life. And when we have difficulties, we have face problems, we don't know how to deal and how to solve our problems, we can pray, and Jesus helps us. And Jesus saves us, but also reminds us to have faith. And so this is the purpose of stories. So each one of us should prepare a few stories that if there is the opportunity to share with other people want to know why you are a Christian, why you love other people, why you are living this way. So you should be able to share why, and to say something about Jesus, not theological things about the Trinity or the very difficult things that is difficult to understand and if difficult to explain if you don't know very well. But this is stories about your life. But we should learn from the Gospel how to tell stories, because the stories first should not be too long. just 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes. Because if a story is too long, well, people you need always a lot of time, and people are not willing to really to listen often, unless you are really able to tell stories. But if you want to be able to tell stories, you have to prepare. You should think. Maybe in your life something happened very special that you felt that Jesus helped you, that you experienced God's power. But there are many details that are not necessary in all that happens. You should choose the main points, what is important. And remember, when you tell a story about Jesus, you are not the main actor. Because often when we speak about ourselves, well, we try to put to show that we are good, that we are very able, that we are very courageous, and so on. That just to put the emphasis on ourselves, but we should put the emphasis on Jesus, like Peter. And there's a lot of stories in the Gospel about St. Peter, but often you can see St. Peter was not so good, even though he was the first pope when already he preached. He talked about Jesus. He was the most important person in the church, but always he shows that he was not able to live up to his vocation, like the time. That time Jesus was walking on the sea, on the water, and everybody was afraid that he was a ghost, and Jesus said, "Don't be afraid, it's me." And Peter said, "Well, if it's you, let me also to walk on the water." And Jesus said, "Well, come." And he did, but then he doubted, he was afraid, and then he sinned. And so Jesus then save him, because they call it Jesus save me. And so in this story you can see the main actor is not Peter, but it's Jesus. Peter is the one who needs, and Jesus is the one who saves. And so this should be in our stories, to show that when we were in need, when we didn't know how to deal, how to solve our problems, we prayed, we trusted in God, and we experienced God's help. And so this should be our main stories about. Of course, it should be real, but should be essential, with the main points that can help people to think about. And this we should prepare. I think that each one of us should be able to tell at least one story or 2 or 3 stories about yourself or somebody you know, that's something that really happened, and to tell in the way that can be convincing for other people, can be inspiring, it can help other people to know Jesus and to know that they can pray Jesus. And so again, Happy New Year with Jesus, and let us try this new year to evangelize.